Welcome to our channel. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Warning: the following contains images of graphic violence and not suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Kenneth Allen McDuff, died November 17, 1998, was an American serial killer from Texas. In 1966, McDuff and an accomplice kidnapped and murdered 3 teenagers who were visiting from California. He was given 3 death sentences for these crimes, but avoided execution after the 1972 U.S. Supreme Court ruling Furman v. Georgia. He was resentenced to life and was paroled in 1989. Between October 1989 and March 1992, McDuff raped and killed at least 6 women, receiving another death sentence, and was later executed in 1998. Early life and background. Kenneth Allen McDuff was raised on 201 Linden Street in the central Texas town of Rosebud, the 5th of 6 children born to John Allen J.A. and Addie McDuff. His father ran a successful concrete business during the Texas construction boom of the 1960s. McDuff was indulged by his family, particularly his mother Addie, nicknamed the pistol-packing mama because she threatened a school bus driver with a gun after the driver kicked McDuff's twin brother Lonnie off the bus. At Rosebud High School, McDuff earned the reputation of being a bully. He was careful to pick on weaker individuals. After the large but not strong McDuff lost a fight he had picked with an athletic and popular boy named Tommy Sammons. As a result, he quit school and worked for his father's business, doing manual labor. McDuff would often brag in later interviews that old ladies loved how he mowed their lawns, making others jealous. McDuff was convicted of a series of burglaries and put in prison. Earlier criminal activities. McDuff's criminal record began 2 years before his first murder conviction. In 1964, at age 18, McDuff was convicted of 12 counts of burglary and attempted burglary in 3 Texas counties: Bell, Milam, and Falls. He was sentenced to 12 4-year prison terms to be served concurrently. He made parole in December 1965. McDuff briefly returned to prison after becoming involved in a fight but was soon released. While he had not been convicted of any murders at this time, his accomplice in the 1966 triple murder, Roy Dale Green, said that McDuff bragged openly about his criminal record and claimed to have raped and killed 2 young women. Broomstick murders. On August 6, 1966, McDuff and Green, whom he had met around a month earlier through a mutual acquaintance, spent the day pouring concrete for McDuff's father. They then drove around, as McDuff said he was looking for a girl. At 10 p.m., Robert Brand, aged 17, his girlfriend Edna Louise Sullivan, aged 16, and Brand's 15-year-old cousin Mark Dunham were standing beside their parked car on a baseball field in Everman, Texas. While cruising around, McDuff noticed Sullivan and parked around 150 yards away from the soon-to-be victims. He threatened the trio with his .38 Colt revolver and ordered them to get into the trunk of their car. With Green following in McDuff's car, McDuff drove the victims forward along a highway and then into a field, where he ordered Sullivan out of the trunk of the Ford and instructed Green to put her into the trunk of his Dodge Coronet. At this point, according to Green's statement, McDuff said he would have to knock him off. He proceeded to fire 6 shots into the trunk of the Ford despite Dunham and Brand's pleas not to. McDuff then instructed Green to wipe the fingerprints off the Ford. After driving to another location, McDuff and Green, the latter allegedly under duress, raped Sullivan. After she was raped repeatedly, McDuff asked Green for something with which to strangle her. Green gave him his belt. However, in the end, McDuff opted to use a 3-foot-long, 0.91 m piece of broomstick from his car. He choked Sullivan, and then Green, and he dumped her body in some bushes. They purchased Coca-Cola from a Hillsboro gas station before driving to Green's house to spend the night. The following day, McDuff buried his revolver beside Green's garage, and their mutual acquaintance Richard Boyd allowed McDuff to wash his car at his house. The next day, Green confessed to Boyd's parents, who told Green's mother, who convinced him to turn himself in. McDuff was arrested by Falls County Sheriff Albert Brady Pamplin, who served with Texas Rangers before serving in World War II with United States Army Air Corps, and Deputy U.S. Marshal Thomas Parnell T.P. McNamara Sr. After driving to another location, McDuff and Green, the latter allegedly under duress, raped Sullivan. After she was raped repeatedly, McDuff asked Green for something with which to strangle her. Green gave him his belt. However, in the end, McDuff opted to use a 3-foot-long, 0.91 m piece of broomstick from his car. He choked Sullivan, and then Green, and he dumped her body in some bushes. They purchased Coca-Cola from a Hillsborough gas station before driving to Green's house to spend the night. The following day, McDuff buried his revolver beside Green's garage, and their mutual acquaintance Richard Boyd allowed McDuff to wash his car at his house. The next day, Green confessed to Boyd's parents, who told Green's mother, who convinced him to turn himself in. McDuff was arrested by Falls County Sheriff Albert Brady Pamplin, who served with Texas Rangers before serving in World War II with United States Army Air Corps, and Deputy U.S. Marshal Thomas Parnell T.P. McNamara Sr.
Kill anyone, Mr. McDuff?
Did you know Melissa Northrop?
Mike? Richard, you getting in?
Yeah.
Parnell. Come on, get through. Tell me to get out of the way, brother.
There went down.
Post-release crimes. Huntsville Unit, the location of the Texas execution chamber. McDuff was one of 20 former death row inmates and 127 murderers to be paroled. After being released, he got a job at a gas station making $4 an hour while taking a class at Texas State Technical College in Waco. Within 3 days of his release, he is widely believed to have begun killing again. The body of 29-year-old Seraphia Parker was discovered on October 14, 1989, in Temple, a town 48 miles south of Waco along the I-35 corridor. McDuff was not charged with this crime. However, he was soon returned to prison on a parole violation for making death threats to an African-American youth in Rosebud. Addie McDuff paid $1,500, plus an additional $700 for expenses, to 2 Huntsville attorneys in return for their evaluating her son's prospect of release. On December 18, 1990, McDuff was again released from prison. On the night of October 10, 1991, he picked up a sex worker named Brenda Thompson in Waco. He tied her up but then stopped his truck about 50 feet from a police checkpoint. When a policeman walked toward McDuff's vehicle,